They thought they could intimidate my family. They thought that inviting 3 bikers onto my land, but they didn't know who I was, or that they'd targeted the wrong woman's family to mess with. Before we continue, leave a comment and tell me what country you are reading from. Let's see how far this ride takes us. It was a Tuesday afternoon. The sun blazed over Oak Ridge Meadows as I came home. Stopped dead in its tracks. My wife Sarah was against the chicken coop. Her voice was firm, calm, but her body was tense. 3 bikers had her cornered, leather jackets thick with patches, motors rumbling behind them like hunting animals. One was kneeling too close, grinning through stained yellow teeth. I cut the engine and stepped down from my truck, all muscle, remembering the weight of combat gear that I hadn't donned in years. I dug my boots into the gravel. The leader faced around to me. "Got business here," he growled, as if that justified him trespassing on my property. Threatening my wife, Sarah's eyes found mine. She wasn't scared. No, but I caught the flicker of relief in her gaze. She wasn't one to be intimidated easily, but 3 against 1 was always a fight that wasn't lost. 30 seconds to tell us," I snarled, my voice low, smooth, the kind that made new recruits seal their lips when I was drilling them. The motorcyclist grinned. "President Loretta doesn't appreciate disregarding notices. Take this. Encouragement." I almost laughed. Loretta, our queen of the HOA by appointment. She'd been seeking a fight ever since I've been criticizing her ridiculous rules. She fined us for a chicken coop she couldn't keep in line. Threatened us over piles of firewood that were beyond her jurisdiction to start with. And now, she sent goons to scare my wife off. Her mistake was thinking intimidation would work on me. 3 minutes, I told them softly. "And you'll be sorry you stayed once you could have left." The leader sneered, inappropriately misunderstanding restraint as weakness. He cracked his knuckles and crept forward towards Sarah. That was his last mistake. Air shifted the moment he crept forward. My body acted before my mind had a chance to catch up. Years of training came flooding back like yesterday. I intercepted his wrist in mid-pivot. Twisted, pinned him to the gravel so hard dust burst out all around us. His friends stood there, debating whether they'd just seen their boss double over at the hands of a man still clinging to a coffee mug in his other hand. "Next," I said calmly. The second man swung wildly, a sloppy haymaker he'd like to see on a bad television show. I ducked under it, hooked his arm, used his own force to push him right into the chicken coop fence. The hens went wild, clucking, feathers flying. Sarah smirked. She actually smirked. The last biker hesitated, revving his engine as if intimidation would work where fists would not. I approached him, grappled the handlebars, pulled. The bike crashed over, his leg pinned beneath the steel and chrome. He was screaming, thrashing wildly. I crouched low, my voice even, steady. "Tell your boss. Next time she'd be better off sending a letter," I said with a cold, hard tone. "Because if she ever sends men around to intimidate my wife again, she won't be seeing them return whole." By then the other 2 were scrambling, groaning, embracing bruises, begging me to desist. One stuttered, "We didn't sign up for this. Man, we thought it was just a scare job." I allowed them to limp away, their engines spluttering as they fought to collect what little pride they had left. Sarah stood beside me, wiping dirt from her jeans. 3 minutes exactly," she said, consulting her watch. Word spread fast. By evening, HOA President Loretta was storming up my porch, her face flushed, pearl necklace bouncing against her chest as she screamed about property damage and assault. But the battered bikers were not interested in making statements. They'd been too humiliated, and every second had been caught on my surveillance cameras. I sat down Loretta and presented her with the tape, watching her turn white as she realized her plan had backfired. Instead of me shaking in her presence, now she had 3 furious bikers rethinking their arrangement with her, and video evidence connecting her ultra prank to attempted intimidation. And I wasn't done yet. By the next HOA meeting, there was rumor running rampant. People were gossiping about the bikers staggering out of our development, about the video that I supposedly possessed, and about Loretta's role. I did not say a word to dispel. Rather, I came into that meeting, laid my laptop down, connected it to the projector, and started it up. The room fell silent. There it was in full HD. 3 bikers pulling up, one grabbing at my wife, and me dismantling them in under 3 minutes flat. Coffee mug still in my hand the whole time. Gasps broke out across the room as the last man's voice cracked over the speakers, begging me to stop. The kicker? I'd clipped in the audio, clear as day, where one of them blurted out, "The HOA president paid us." Loretta jumped up out of her chair, screaming, "That is taken out of context." But it was. Not with a good half of the room already recording on their cell phones. One of her neighbors stood up and read straight from State Code 18 U.S.C. Section 8875 fake criminal coercion and intimidation. And our county law on harassment. Loretta had just declared the HOA her own mafia, and now everyone knew it. The bikers? They folded. 2 of them appeared at the sheriff's office the next day, bruised, humiliated, and eager to turn state's evidence against Loretta in exchange for lesser charges. They delivered texts, proof of payment receipts, even a note on HOA stationery, written in ink by hand, promising to pay them for a scare job. And at the end of the week, Loretta was served. Conspiracy, harassment, abuse of HOA funds. Call it whatever. She complained about neighborhood safety as deputies led her out of her home in handcuffs. Sarah and I were on our porch, coffee in my hand again. As the patrol cars drove by, neighbors waved. There were some applause, and one shouted, "Send a letter next time." The HOA expelled her that evening, unanimously. Reforms poured in, transparency, budgetary controls, and a strict ban on any enforcement not legal. But the icing on the cake, the same bikers who had tried to harass us, showed up weeks later. No leather, but workdays, asking if they could do repair work in the neighborhood as their penalty. Humbly, courteously, a whole lot less noise. I just smiled. "Just don't hassle my wife anymore," I said to them. "We'll be just fine." Sometimes HOA presidents think they own the block. Loretta acted like she had an army at her command. She forgot. Some of us fight harder than she can even imagine.